Hi, Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Madam Shafinas for the subject FAR570 which been assigned to do a video presentation. This video contains two parts. The first part is about segment reporting and the second part is about interim reporting. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nur Saadah binti Hamzah.
My name is Cikgu Nur Atirah Madihah binti Cikgu Mazlan.
My name is Nurul Badirah binti Raslan.
My name is Nurul Shasha binti Zalim.
Today, me and my fellow groupmates will be presenting to you on our Seng consolidated Berhad segmental reporting. We hope you all will stay with us up until the end of our presentation. Thank you. Now, let's look at the company background. Seng Consolidated Berhad (HSCB) is a public company that is listed on the main market of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad. The nature of the business is an investment holding company. The register office and the principal place of HSCB is located at 21st Floor Menara Seng, Jalan P. Ramlee 50250, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The vision of HSCB, first, to create value together with all its stakeholders by fostering partnership that build from the trust and confidence between each other. Second, HSCB endures in the harmony with the environment and the communities for a better future. There are four missions of HSCB. First, to provide quality products and excellent services to its customers that differentiates HSCB from others. Second, to achieve sustainable growth and return for HSCB shareholders over the long term. Third, to be the preferred partner and to promote win-win business relationship. Fourth, to be a good corporate citizen in harmony with the environment and the community. There are three factors to identify operating segments. First, nature of the business activities. There are 6 core segments of HSCB. First, plantation, cultivation of oil palm and processing of fresh fruit bunches. Second, property, which is property investment and property development. Third, trading and distribution of fertilizer and agrochemical, trading of general building materials. Fourth, automotive, trading in motor vehicle, spare parts and servicing of motor vehicle. 5. Credit financing, provision of financial services. C. Building materials, operation of stone quarries and manufacture of bricks. Second, the existence of managers responsible of each activity. They are CEO for the plantation, trading, automotive, credit financing. Therefore, they are COO for property and building materials. There are 2 types of segment, which is first, business segment, second, geographical segment. Okay. For the business segment, that is providing a single product or services that is subject to different returns and risks than other those market segments. Second, geographical segment. Okay. That is providing an individual product or service within a particular economic environment and that is subject to risk and return that are different from those of other economic environment.
Next, factors to identify business segment. The first one is nature of the product. As explained by Atirah just now, Seng Consolidated Berhad have 6 core business, which are plantation, automotive, building materials, property, credit financing, and trading. The second factor is nature of the production process. For the plantation, the company produced the palm oil. Next, the property investment and development is an established property developer. For trading, it has fertilizer trading, general trading, and ceramic tiles. The automotive is in the sale of Mercedes-Benz passenger car and Fuso commercial vehicles. For the credit financing, it is provision of secured term loans and industrial hire purchase primarily to small and medium enterprises. The last one is building materials. It is operation of quarry, asphalt, and bricks. The third factor is class of the customer. Seng Consolidated Berhad has a various type of customer. Some of them are from inside and outside Malaysia, investor, creditor, farmer, contractor, etc. The last factor is method used to distribute the product. First is direct selling. For example, fertilizer, ceramic tiles, building material products such as cement tiles and steel bars can be sold to the customer by direct selling. Next is wholesaler. The role of a wholesaler is to source products in bulk from manufacturers and then sell them to the retailers. The last method used to distribute the product is by subsidiaries from inside and outside Malaysia, such as Indonesia, Singapore, China, and United Kingdom. Seng Consolidated Berhad operates their business, which are organized separately in 3 different geographical segments. First is in both Peninsular Malaysia and Sabah. Second is in other Asian countries, and last one is in other countries.
Now, we look at the chief operating decision maker and responsibility.
There are 3 chief operating decision maker. First, chief executive officer. Second, chief operating officer. Third, chief financial officer. In chief executive officer, we have 5 people, which are Au Yong Siu Fah, Puan Cheng Keng, Bon Tau View, Kok So Bang, and Yong Tae Jan. Second, chief operating officer, which are Harald Webb Ben Rek and Edu Telly. The last one is Au Siu Long as a chief financial officer. There are 2 responsibilities of CODM. First, overseeing the management of the business and affairs to the group, including commitment sustainability in the best interest of the company. Second, responsible to support board with oversight role in the area of financial reporting, related party transaction, conflict of interest, internal control environment, external audit, internal audit, as well as group overall risk management system. Identify reportable segment and non-reportable segment. They are divided by 2, 10% and 75%. First, we look at the 10% threshold. An entity requires to disclose information about the segment separately if it meets any following quantities threshold. There are 3: revenue, profit or loss, and asset. First, we look at the revenue. The percentage need more than 10% of combined internal and external revenue in the operating segment. Second, profit or loss is also need more than 10% of the profit or loss in the operating, whichever is greater use absolute amount. The asset is also need more than 10% of the all asset in the operating segment. If the segment does not meet 10% requirement, it will consider as a non-reportable segment. It will combine and disclose under all other segment. Now, we look at 75% threshold. Combine all the external revenue of the reporting segment needs more than 75% of the total external revenue of the entity. To make sure the entity comply with 75% threshold, the company needs to identify more reportable segment even if it does not meet 10% requirement. To identify 10%, the total revenue of each segment needs to divide by the total revenue for all segments. The formula of 75% The total external revenue of reportable segment, we need to divide by the total external revenue. Now, we look at the 10% threshold test revenue for Seng. There are 6 segments: plantation, property, credit financing, automotive, trading, and building material. We look at the plantation. Plantation, they get 10.79%. It will consider a reportable segment. Second is property. They get 26.2%. It's also considered as reportable. Third, for the credit financing, they only get a 4.71%. It will consider as non-reportable segment. For the automotive, they get a 22.73%. It will consider as reportable segment. For the trading, they get 28.9%. It also considered as reportable segment. And the last one, building material, they only get a 6.66%. It will consider as non-reportable segment. Now, we look at 75% threshold of revenue of Seng. There are 4 segments, which are plantation, property, automotive, and trading. They get 89.79%. It means the total external revenue is more than 75% of the total revenue. The segments that we consider as reportable segments are plantation, property, automotive, and trading. Therefore, Seng does not need to identify additional reporting segment. Now we look at new segment of revenue of Seng. There are 2, reportable and all other segments. Under reportable segment have 4 segments, which are plantation, property, automotive, and trading. Under all other segments have 2, which are financial reporting and also building material, because they consider as non-reportable segment when we do 10% threshold test.
Advantages of segment reporting. Firstly, segment reporting can separate profitable segment. Segment reporting can reveal which areas are profitable and which are less or not profitable. This makes it easier to identify the profit-making and loss-making needs. Secondly, it allows stakeholders to get better sense of fluctuations that might affect overall numbers. For example, if the business reports higher earnings than expected, segment reporting can show where the earnings are coming from. Thirdly, it helps in the optimum utilization of resources. If the company discloses their segment reporting to the other parties, it can improve allocation of scarce resources. Segment disclosure also can remove imperfections in the investment market and cause the market to function properly. Lastly, segment reporting helps potential investors in making investment decisions. With segment disclosure, investors can better analyze the risks and uncertainties and potential cash flows of the business. Next, disadvantages of segment reporting. One of the disadvantages of segment reporting is data presented can be misinterpreted by investors. This is because the nature and limitations of segment data are known to internal users, but external users have difficulty to understand it. Therefore, they may arrive at wrong conclusions in investment-related decision-making. Last but not least, disadvantages of segment reporting is allocation of common costs. This is because some common costs can be difficult to allocate sometimes. If common cost is apportioned on a basis which does not reflect a rational relationship, it would produce an unreliable segment reporting.
Now, let's move on to the part B, which is interim reporting. First, basis of preparation of the interim report. The financial statement of HSCB have been prepared in accordance with MFRS, IFRS, and Companies Act 2016 in Malaysia. Okay. The financial statement are presented in Ringgit Malaysia, which is RM, and all value are rounded to the nearest thousand.
B. 2 policy that used in preparing interim period. The financial policy adopted by Seng are constant or same with the recent annual financial statement, except for the changes arising from adoption following to the MFRS. The financial statement of Seng have been prepared according to historical cost basis. Assets and liability are recognized and measured for the interim reporting on the available information on a year-to-the-date basis. The interim financial report generally require a greater use of estimation method than annual financial statement.
Types of interim reports prepared by HSCB. Seng Consolidated Berhad. Financial year ends on 31 December 2020. HSCB will publish a quarterly interim financial statement, which is every 3 months of each quarter. It is because quarterly reports are commonly used by the companies. In a year, there will be 4 quarters, as stated in the slide. Period for current and comparative for each statement prepared by HSCB. First, the statement of financial position for the financial year end 31 December 2020. The current interim period for quarter 1 is on 1st January 2020 until 31st March 2020, and the comparative period is on the same date of the previous year, and this applies for each quarter. For quarter 2, current interim period is on 1st April until 30 June 2020. Quarter 3 is on 1st July until 30 September 2020, and quarter 4 is on 1st October until 31st December 2020. Next is statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income. For the first quarter, the current interim period is on 1st January until 31st March 2020, while the comparative is on 1st January until 31st March 2019. For quarter 2, the current interim period is on 1st April until 30 June 2020, and the cumulative interim period is for 6 months, which is on 1st January until 30 June 2020. The comparative period is also in the same date of the immediately preceding year. For quarter 3, the current interim period is on 1st July until 30 September 2020, and the cumulative is for 9 months, which is 1st January until 30 September 2020. And for quarter 4, the current interim period is on 1st October until 31st December, and the cumulative interim period is for 12 months, which is 1st January until 31st December 2020. Next is statement of changes in equity. The current interim period and the comparative period for SOCE is cumulative. For the first period, the current interim period is on 1st January until 31st March 2020, and the comparative period is 1st January until 31st March 2019. For second quarter, the date is 1st January until 30 June 2020, while the comparative is 1st January until 30 June 2019. For third period, current interim period is 1st January until 30 September 2020, while the comparative period is 1st January until 30 September 2019. Current interim period for fourth quarter is 1st January until 31st December 2020, and the comparative period is 1st January until 31st December 2019. Last but not least, statement of cash flows. The SOCF interim period and comparative period is cumulated. For first quarter, the current interim period is on 1st January until 31st March 2020, and the comparative period is 1st January 2019 until 31st March 2019. For second quarter, current interim period is on 1st January until 30 June 2020, and for comparative period is 1st January until 30 June 2019. Third quarter is 1st January until 30 September 2020, and the comparative period is 1st January until 30 September 2019. And for the fourth quarter, the current interim period is on 1st January until 31 December 2020, and the comparative period is 1st January 2019 until 31 December 2019.
Here we have 2 adjustments made by Seng Consolidated Berhad. The first one is the company made a new acquisition on investment property that amounting to 60,636,000. Second, the company paid an outstanding balance to the supplier in cash and bank. The amount are 29 millions and 100 millions 321,000 respectively. So this is an extract of the statement of financial position before and after adjustment made. For non-current asset, we have investment property here. There is an increase of 60,636,000. So we need to add with the previous one before the adjustment made. The value after the adjustment is as stated here. For current asset, cash and bank balance, there is a decrease. So we have to less with the amount before adjustment made, and we will get the amount after the adjustment is lower than before.